and welcome back to Practically Magick. This is Courtney Pearl, your host, folklorist, witch, healer. Today I'm coming back to you in 2025. We took a little mini hiatus in season 2 to get some growth happening at Ride the Wave Media. I'm very excited about some new changes that are coming up and new ways to invite guests to join us. So I am recording from the cave, my favorite place to do my podcast. You'll see my artwork in the background. For those of you who are listening to audio, you need to go on YouTube and see the YouTube video to be able to see my incredible outline here of where I record. It's 2025. I didn't mind taking a little break as we were going into the new year and allowing myself to have a little bit of a mental health check, because things going on in the world right now can be real heavy, real scary. And yeah, without getting too political, just finding little ways for me to feel okay and comfortable and safe in my own skin. And so in light of that, I'm going to go ahead and pull a card. You guys, I just got a new deck. I know I say that a lot. I kind of get a new deck a lot, but I did get a new deck. It is the Ethereal Visions Tarot deck. That was my first tarot deck. If you remember, I have done readings for the beginning of our show, pulled a card from the Ethereal Visions deck, which I love, but I have always had my eye on the Luna edition, and I finally got it. Here's the card I have pulled for our episode today. And if you'll notice, if you go to YouTube and you're able to watch the video, you will see that the Luna deck has this incredible prismic, colorful, ooh, it just makes me shiver. It's so beautiful. It's where the gold foil is in the original deck that I have. This one is like a colorful rainbow prism, which is why I named my business Prism Healing. So if you know, you know. This is my favorite color. So you'll see like the beautiful shimmery colors on there. Oh, it makes me so happy. I'm so excited. But this Eight of Swords is the card that I chose for today's episode, which is very appropriate. Right now, the image itself is giving like I'm not quite ready to deal with what's going on. She is the image of this woman. She's wrapped up in, tied up like bondage. She's got ropes. She's got her hands tied up. She's got blindfold over her eyes. This is the energy or vibe I'm getting right now when I read the news or I'm on social media too much. I'm a little bit too in it, and I think to myself, oh my gosh, I don't have the energy or the capacity to deal with what is going on in the world today. And I'm really, truly concerned for people, and just all my love goes out to them. And in every way that I can, I will advocate for the people who continue to be marginalized. And so part of me is kind of in this state of like, I don't even want to see or hear it. I have a little trick where I go on social media. I engage with social media only enough for me to, check out what my friends are doing, support people that need support, and make a post or create content of my own. And then I pause the app for the rest of the day. So if you've been trying to message me on social media and I don't respond the same day, it's because you are posting and messaging me after I pause the app. And I'm doing that for my own personal mental health. So yeah, she's just a little bit like, I'm not dealing with what's going on right now. But the good news is, and I love the image of the 8 swords are actually in the ground around her, which creates this vibe of trust, right? Like whatever's going on, sometimes when we don't have control over what's going on and we can't possibly do enough to change what's going on at the moment, it might be a good idea to preserve what you can of your own and then allow yourself to trust. The universe has your back one way or another. And, some people laugh when the word universe is used like that. I honestly, fill in the blank. I don't care what word you use. I think universe is universal. And for you sciencey people, when we say universe, the mystics and the energy people like me, when we say universe, we don't actually mean the universe. We mean like the planets and stars and stuff are not like coming around being like, what do you want? What do you need? I'll help you. No, it's more like the universal source energy. Okay. So energy starts somewhere, something created, and the ripple effect that became frequency and that became form and function and sound and color and substance and geometry. There is something that started all of that, and it came from a high vibrational frequency. So this universal source of energy is on your side. Without a consciousness, just it serves you, what you are aligning yourself with. So if it was a deity with a personality and a choice, it would be like your best bud is like, what do you need? Just ask. Okay? If you want to destroy your life, I'm here. I'll help you. We can destroy your life together. If you want abundance and good things, I will also do that. So it's like whatever you ask for. So be careful what you ask for. Maybe it's like a genie. While I'm creating metaphors on the spot, I'm just thinking to myself, it's kind of like that old be careful what you wish for, the monkey's paw type folklore, where a lot of those stories are warnings of when you ask for something, be careful how you word it, because you are going to get what you want. And if it isn't exactly what you want and you asked for it, then you really asked for it. So you may regret it. But this is the card that we are going to go with today for our episode. Oh my gosh, I've got so many exciting things on the horizon. A list of really amazing episode ideas that we are coming up with. Some require a little bit of time and research, and I am working on that. You will see that in the last episode that I recorded about death and grief, we are moving into a space where I would like to share more with you about how it is that I have experienced and seen the ways of the universe working in my life, and we'll be able to find those solutions together. So today is going to be a special episode because I am not going to stick with the norm, as it were. I'm not going to be teaching on a subject, but I'm going to do a guided meditation with you. So this is going to be a special episode, maybe a little bit preserved in its own category of episodes, that I would like to share with you what it can be like to get into a space of connection. And when we are feeling competitive, when we are feeling tension and, in our fight, flight, freeze, or fawn type of stress, the way that we can step out of that or break that cycle and to be in a more authentic, productive frequency for what we need to accomplish and to align ourselves with our purpose. I often teach the C's. When it starts with a C, the words that start with C are all things that we know we are really in our true self. We are really in our best frequency for getting things done. And they all start with the letter C. So this is how I help my art students and my little guys to understand it. But when you're making decisions, when you're trying to get things done, calm, curious, creative, connected, compassionate. These are all the kind of C words that you will want to engage with. And then when you're in that state that you are really being the most productive that you can be. And the thing about being curious and compassionate specifically is that it allows judgment to be put aside. And as we talked about in the alchemy episode, if you missed it, please go back because that's a fantastic episode. We talked about how shame isn't necessarily an emotion of its own. We talked about how it's really the lens in which we see the world and ourselves. So if we're seeing ourselves in a space of shame, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be judging ourselves or others with that lens on. So actions we've done in our past, or even just this morning, the way that we have engaged with a problem or a challenge that we've come across, we're coming from a place of judgment. We're usually not very compassionate with ourselves. We're usually saying, see, this is proof that I'm not a good person, or that I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, because look at how I handled this situation. And then there we are, shrouding ourselves in shame. This is going to create more stress and more problems than it actually is going to solve. So if we can engage with certain difficulties in our life through the lens of compassion, again, engaging with a more high frequency and lower stress vibe, what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be compassionate towards ourselves. I only did the best that I could in the moment. When I know better, I do better. I'm a good person that just happened to be struggling. This is the kind of thought process that would happen in that sort of state. I have compassion for myself, and I also have compassion for others. So when we engage with other people where judgment is concerned, or judgment comes into play, and I'm not saying you're a bad person for using judgment. Judgment is a tool, right? It helps us stay safe sometimes. It's not a bad thing. But when judgment comes into play towards other people, we are often thinking to ourselves, I have no idea why that person did what they did. I cannot even begin to understand how a person would do what they just did. And clearly they are not thinking straight, or they are not smart, or they, whatever. Or they're mean. They're a bad person, right? We have a tendency to do this when we don't understand other people. But if you go back to the episode that I talked about when I talked about neural pathways, and I talked about how our brains are mapped, every person, no matter what their experiences, even if their experiences are pretty identical to our own, which isn't possible, but let's just say it was possible for everyone, for two people to have the exact identical experiences, they are going to make different neural pathways to cope with those experiences. And all neural pathways are a way to get a chemical need met and avoid pain. So for an entire lifetime, the person you are engaging with has been creating a neural map in their brain to help them cope with things that were difficult and to get their needs met. And their map looks completely different than your map. So they may be engaging in the world in ways you do not understand. And when you're in a state of compassion, it allows you to understand just that. Just that. I don't need to understand why they're doing what they're doing. I just need to know, without a doubt, that this person is doing what they're doing to try to get a need met. And this is the only way they know how. This is the way their brain maps have told them to get that need met. So in engaging with compassion, I'm just going to look at this person and say, oh, I have compassion for you, because whether it works or not, this is the only way they know. You know how to solve a problem, to engage with a challenge, to face an obstacle. And you don't know any other way. No one has ever shown you, and you never, have had an opportunity to change how you do things. So we're going to have compassion for ourselves. We're going to have compassion for others. We're going to look at them with curiosity rather than judgment. So I'm curious about this. I'm curious about why. I'm curious about how this was handled. I'm curious to find out more about this, rather than I'm placing a judgment as good or bad, and that's how I'm going to see and perceive this whole situation. I'm going to specifically engage with this with you today in this episode as a guided meditation to help us overcome what can feel very lonely and isolating, because it's a theme that has been coming up for a lot of people lately. And when I see a lot of people doing and struggling and coming to terms with the same kind of thing all at once at the same time, I think to myself, there's probably an astrological reason. There's probably an energetic reason. There's probably a way in which the world has been throwing this into our face, the universe, if you will, is throwing this into our face and allowing us to say, this is something you need to work on. And so I would like to begin by saying, please do not listen to this guided meditation if you are driving, in case it happens to make you very relaxed and tired. I wouldn't want you to close your eyes while driving or fall asleep while driving. So make sure that you pause this, download it, listen to it later. If you can, figure out a time when would be good for you to sit and work and listen through this meditation with me. I am going to use drumming, which I use a lot in my healing practice. I use during Reiki and chakra drumming sessions. Drumming is a really powerful tool, and I highly recommend that anybody who likes drums and likes the rhythmic, deep sounds of the drum to purchase your own drum for yourself. You do not have to be a musician. I am not a musician. Not really. But I do engage with the drum a lot. And it has some scientific, if you're hearing that echo, it's my drum. It has some scientific correlations to drumming rhythmically or randomly for 20 minutes can help ease addiction cravings. It can regulate the body. It can break the cycle of stress. And so if you are having anxiety or you are having, something that correlates with that, which anxiety and addiction are a lot in the same circle. Like they're two sides of the same coin. I go into a lot of that when I talk about neural pathways too. So go back to that episode if you don't know what I'm talking about. But they look the same in the brain maps. So if you are feeling anxious or you're having addiction cravings, drumming has a way of allowing the body to access alpha brainwave states in a way that even transcendental meditation has been proven to not be effective for some people. And drumming was effective. So I use drumming. And hopefully the sound is carrying through the microphone as you can hear the drumming sound. And I want you to do this when you can be comfortable in a place sitting or laying down. You can also play some 528 hertz music on the background of this. I'll ask my producer if we can do that. You can play some of your own. What I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to do a body scan. So I want you to think of the zones of your body, starting first with the head. The head and the neck area is going to be zone 1. And I want you to relax every muscle in zone 1. I want you to think of the jaw muscles, the muscles around your ears and neck. And as you take some deep breaths, give every muscle permission to relax. Away from the body. And moving to zone 2, your shoulders, your arms, your upper torso, back. Most people hold the most tension in these areas. I want you to take a breath. On the exhale, you're going to feel every one of those muscles relax. Let your shoulders drop away from the ears. Imagine that the muscles are melting away from the bone. Let your hands fall open. In zone 3, we're going to work on the lower torso and pelvis. Just allow all the muscles and any tension that you can pinpoint in these areas of the body. Let them relax. Zone 4, the buttocks, the upper thighs. Some people hold a lot of tension here as well when you feel like you've been holding yourself up and supporting yourself for a while. Overworked, exhausted. In zone 5, all the way down to your feet. And I want you to let your feet fall open. If you're laying down, let them spread to where they're pointing your toes in different directions. If you're sitting in a chair, let your feet fall to the floor. Lay flat on the floor. And as I say each one of these zones again, you're going to scan the body in each zone and find any more spots that have tension that need to be released. And almost like you're the head of the conference table, you get to tell each zone to relax, to let go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Now draw your attention to your mind's eye. With your eyes closed, I want you to visualize yourself walking through a dense but welcoming forest on a path you feel your bare feet touching the soil on the path is soft, dark brown, moist, as if you're walking on a pillow. Imagine that all around you are tall, deep green trees. So thick is this forest that you cannot see the sun in the sky, but you notice small glittering slivers of sunlight that peek through the leaves and shine down on the undergrowth of the forest. magical, whimsical, and warm feeling all around you. Listen for the birds chirping in the trees above your head. And as you walk this path, you come to a clearing. But the clearing is actually the side of a cliff. You approach slowly and carefully to not be afraid of the heights. And you notice that this cliff is connected to a cliff on the other side of the canyon by a wood and rope bridge. At first, this bridge looks slightly rickety and unsafe, and you question whether you should trust it to hold you if you were to cross the canyon at such heights and continue on the path on the other side. And as you gaze across the bridge, you see a person that you know is on the other side. This person is someone in your life who you want desperately to be connected with. Someone you love and you crave time with them. And connection with them. And you know that in order to go and be with them now, you will have to cross this bridge. And so you take one step onto the first plank of wood, grasping the rope on either side with your hands. Wood is able to hold your weight even when you hear some small creaking sounds and the sound of the tension on the rope. You begin to take each step with more and more confidence. Realize this bridge is stronger than you thought it was. And as you get closer and closer to the other side, you actually can hear this person cheering you on, encouraging you. You can feel their enthusiasm that soon you will cross the bridge and be together. As their face comes more and more clear in your view, you see the big smile on their face at their excitement. You are almost here. Their arms are open wide, ready to embrace you. And even as a few of the planks planks of wood that you step on seem a little shaky, you keep going, one foot in front of the other. Until you finally reach the other side. Hand in hand, joined with this person, you can finally connect and walk together on the path through the forest, talking, laughing, catching up on all the things that you've wanted to tell them and hear from them. And proud of yourself for spanning the distance between you. Walk through the forest. You come closer and closer into the light until there is nothing but light around you. The forest has disappeared, faded away, and you take that love and connection you have with you as you return to your body. Counting down now. You're going to reconnect with the zones of your body. 5, 4, 3, wiggle your fingers and toes. 2, 1. Eyes open, wide awake. Eyes open, wide awake. Take a deep breath. Return to your body and your awareness. This guided meditation today is to help you reconnect with those that you may have found distance with, either emotionally or physically, and to feel less isolated and alone, remembering that you do have people you are connected with even when you are not with them in the moment. Replay this meditation when you are feeling that you need to reconnect with someone, that maybe there is tension or disagreement between you and someone you care about, and this will help bridge the gap between you and help you to feel more connected. I would like to take this opportunity to invite you to my website, prism-healing.com. I have a couple of classes online and in person that are available to you. Go to my events for online classes. You will see a My Body, My Dance class coming up soon, and which I am hoping to make a regular thing. It's my own way of resistance. Also, I have a rituals and spells class that I'll be doing online soon. If you missed the first one, I will be posting that again. And the next one that I'll be doing, it's a class to help you to put together your own rituals and spells for your own purposes, and what that means for you when you're engaging with spirituality in your own way. I also have my services available, which is chakra drumming, which I can do online or in person, Reiki healing, and integrated processing technique, emotional processing sessions, deeply, deeply powerful inner child work. If you are willing to give that a try for your own healing experiences. And then I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my producer, Jess Blaine, who works so hard to make these episodes the best that they can be and release them to the world and have this content be available to you. So thank you, Jess Blaine and Ride the Wave Media, for being my producer. If you'd like a podcast of your own, please reach out, because they make it so easy and amazing to be able to put together a podcast and release it. If you are a business or an entity that would like to sponsor episodes and be mentioned or have promotions going on during the episodes, I am very interested in talking about sponsorship opportunities. So please reach out to me for that as well. And if you like this episode or any of the previous episodes that I have done on Practically Magick, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Download episodes to listen to later. Share with a friend. There are particular episodes that I like to share when someone is going through something very specific, like codependency issues, or they want to learn a little bit more about a certain subject. If I have an episode about it, I will send them the link. So please do so if you feel inclined to do that. And thank you so much for listening. Go make magic in your life, witches and wizards, because you are a magical and powerful being, and don't forget it.